Hello everyone, welcome back to Zelf on the Shelf. You guys always ask for Secret Lives of Mormon Wives videos, so today I brought my friend Aurora here to talk about it.
Yay!
That's the best. Making a YouTube video for the first time with a new person, nightmare.
We're here for it though.
But this is going to be fun. We are just here to chat on this gloomy Sunday about our opinions
On it all.
You should give a tiny introduction about yourself, maybe.
Okay.
To, I guess, give your credentials for talking about the Mormon Wives.
Well, I grew up Mormon, so I feel like I am allowed to make judgment on
Yeah.
on the Mormon of it all.
You can shamelessly judge as much as you want.
Right,
Yeah.
because I was born in it. I was born in the covenant, raised in it. I didn't leave until I had my first kid and was 22, I think, and haven't looked back. But I grew up outside of Utah, and then moving to Utah, the Mormon culture is so different in the Utah bubble than it is elsewhere. And I think that the show does a really good job of showing what that specific culture is.
Yeah.
So I'm just excited to talk about it.
Were you ever Mormon Wives adjacent in any way? Because I kind of look back on my Mormon history and I'm like, I was doing the hair extensions and there was some stuff about me that was kind of like.
I mean, yeah, I think there was. I think Utah has such an interesting influencer bubble that a few years ago, and when I say a few, I guess 7, everyone was doing all of the Utah trendy things, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I had hair extensions in high school, so not more recently, but I did the lash extensions. I did it all. I was editing my photos super orange.
Oh yeah.
I was bleach blonde.
Yeah.
Had a baby at 22. I did the whole Utah thing.
That's key, yeah.
Yeah, so I did the whole Utah Mormon thing, and I got sealed in the temple. I did it all. So I'm ready to pass judgment.
Yep, you are looking at 2 women who were married in the temple.
Yeah.
So just so you know. Okay, well, we just started talking about this before. Hi, Jared. Jared also loves the Mormon Wives. Does Seth watch it? Or has he watched it? Does he refuse?
He is just not super into it, but he will sit and he'll come home from work, and I'm like, all right, here's the update today on what's happened with the Mormon Wives. And so he's just forced to sit and listen to all of it. And
that's good.
Yeah, so he knows all of the drama of this season.
So we were talking before we started about how we kind of feel like our opinions on people didn't really change much this season.
Yeah. I went into the first season not really knowing very much about a lot of the... I guess I had followed 1 or 2 of them at a point over the years, but I didn't really know anything about their personal lives in that way. And I know Demi was a fan favorite in the first season, and I kind of liked her the first season a little bit.
Okay.
And then second season, I was shocked.
She really went hard in the second season.
Right.
I did not like her from season 1. I just thought she was a mean girl, and I didn't really understand why everyone liked her so much. But the way that she became a villain in season 2, nobody could have really predicted that.
I don't think anyone could have predicted it. I saw a TikTok comment today that said something like, the reason why everybody liked Demi in the first season was because everyone was focused on Whitney, and the way that Demi was acting was in line with the way everyone else was feeling. And so everyone was on board with it, and everyone felt like it was okay. And so...
Not me.
Right.
I'm a Whitney apologist.
I don't know how I feel about Whitney. I like her, not on Mormon Wives.
On
Mormon Wives, I don't love her.
It's fair to say, but I just this is probably going to be all over the place.
But
definitely would love to have a work ethic like that someday.
I can't imagine.
Also, her dancing is insane. It was like a spiritual experience watching her.
This is the first season I've ever watched Dancing with the Stars. I multiple times got chills watching her dance.
Yeah.
And I'm just so mad that she got voted home.
We kept
Andy on for that many weeks just to kick Whitney off the next week.
Knowing nothing about Dancing with the Stars, I'm like, surely Whitney deserves to win it.
100%.
It should be a meritocracy.
Yes.
At least a little bit, or more than it was.
Right, agree.
So I remember in the first season, the reason everyone originally started disliking Whitney was because she did that Fruity Pebbles joke to Demi.
Yes.
Which I just felt like watching it, I was like, this was just a harmless, cute little thing that she did. Also, you're filming a reality TV show, so you got to be doing something.
Right, the producers probably
I just felt like the way Demi reacted was so over the top, especially because it felt like when she first got the gift, she laughed about it. And I don't know, I just felt like that whole thing was sus, and I didn't believe that. Also, I found out later that she did have Demi's permission to do that. Like they had text, but then that was like the basis for Whitney being a villain for the whole season.
Right. I feel like, well, especially seeing the last 2 seasons and especially this last season with the way that Demi and her husband handled things.
Calling Miranda white trash when she is the classiest, best person on the show, in my opinion.
I was so shocked. The very few interactions we got with him had my jaw on the floor. I was like, why do you feel like it's okay to say any of these things?
I'm like, okay, yeah, that is giving billionaire, I guess. So you're on brand. But
it was gross. And their relationship was already questionable to begin with, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting how the show has gone from being a show about, well, I guess they were all kind of TikTok famous, but now the show is so much about like what is happening to these women as they're getting power and fame and influence. And I think that was what was interesting about Demi in season 2 is you're like, oh, this person is like wilding out because they've, you know, gained access to like money and power. And that very much feels like hers and Brett's vibe, like just cutthroat business.
Yeah, fame changed her. For sure.
Though I bet she was a mean girl before. I'm just going to say it.
I bet she was. I have never met her.
Yeah.
But
it's kind of tough talking about people on the internet because, especially
but the way that they portrayed it, like the thing that I think is so different about her versus Demi is that in the way that Demi interacts online.
Who versus Demi? Whitney.
Oh, sorry. I don't know if I said that.
Yeah.
But with Demi, she is the same online. She's also a mean girl. She's also like poking at people and being really petty, whereas Whitney is very different online. And so it's easy for me to feel like Whitney gets a villain edit versus Demi is just being herself, if that makes sense. Because the way that they portray themselves on social media is going to be so much more like that's their own edit of themselves. That's how they want to portray themselves. And so it feels like Demi's okay being portrayed as the mean girl.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah. I guess I just felt from season 1, it's like all of these women are always playing like a social game and kind of, it feels like it's never really about like a strong moral code that they each have, like the way that they'll like go with stuff, like different feuds. It's just literally like the sort of, the way the social chips are falling. They kind of look at it and they're like, you know, like it was strategic for Whitney to be friends with Demi again this season. Even though you could so see her and Connor struggling with Demi's whole thing this season, which we can get into. But I just felt like from season 1 with Whitney, I'm like, I think she just is a different flavor than the rest of these girls. And maybe just because I relate to people thinking that you're like, I don't know, arrogant or, I mean, I relate to being annoying. And so maybe I just see myself in Whitney, but I've just never felt like she was as bad as everyone said. And I felt like she has... And this season kind of proved it. Like, she has a lot of emotional intelligence that you don't always see in the others.
Yeah, I honestly think that Whitney's just a lot more honest about what mom talk really is.
Yeah.
I think Whitney is honest about the fact that it's a business, and it always has been. And even though, like, it initially rubbed me the wrong way when she decided to come back this season just because of Dancing with the Stars.
I kind of loved it.
Well, I mean...
This is good. We're representing both sides of the audience.
We all would have done it. I would have done it. We all would have done it.
And seeing how good she is at dancing, I'm like, no wonder you would do anything.
Like I would have jumped at the chance.
You were born to do that.
I would have gone back to something I'd left if I, could have that chance. Also,
I would be so bad on Dancing with the Stars. I just had a visual. Horrible. It was horrifying.
I would be horrible. It would be. I don't have my hips. They tell a very, very stiff story.
What were we talking about?
But Whitney, I feel like she's just so much more honest about what everyone is really there for. And I don't think it's just what's the word I'm looking for? Well received. It's just not very well received. But I think that's how everyone feels, like they all, especially knowing that from the first season, they had to reach out to multiple influencers in Utah, Layla and Jen, in order to grow the Mom Talk group for the show.
Yeah.
That they weren't part of Mom Talk. They were strategically added for the show itself. That, of course, it's just a business. And so I think that that's what a lot of people don't like about Whitney.
And I do feel like if she had good, I think she ideally is someone that would want to have good relationships, but I do feel like she just doesn't go with the social currents the way the other girls do. Like she kind of just marches to the beat of her own drum. Yeah. And they don't like that. Like
Yeah.
it really, which I feel like we can all relate to being in a friend group like that,
Yes.
where it's like if you deviate a bit too much.
Everyone's like, never mind.
Yeah.
No, and I respect that about Whitney. I respect
Let
that
us
about
know in the
Whitney a
comments
lot.
what you think of Whitney. I feel like 90% of people will be on your side about Whitney. And
We'll see. I don't know. I feel like everyone's liking Whitney a lot more. I like Whitney a lot more now than I did first season. I'm warming up to her. So
yeah.
Whitney, we love you.
I genuinely do. Also, we had, do you know Tara Herbert? She does Potty Mouth podcast.
The name sounds really familiar.
She's Black. She was adopted into a Mormon family. Either way, she came on our
Yes.
channel earlier in the year, and she was mission companions with Whitney. And she said Whitney is
Really?
like great. Like she's so fun. She's so nice.
That's so crazy. What a small world.
Yeah. I really
crazy.
think Whitney might be good, guys. I've been saying it
I
all
feel
along.
like she probably is really great. I think she just got a really bad edit the first season, and she just hasn't really been able to recover from that.
Yeah, and it's like, do I think she can be narcissistic? Yes, but now that I've seen her dance, I'm like, no wonder. Like, you deserve to be. I would be
She had
way
all
worse.
that underneath. She had a right.
Yeah, I'm narcissistic and I got nothing to back it up, but she's got that. Like, yeah, good for her for getting
Good for
on
her.
Dancing
She
with
has
the
every
Stars.
right to be.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. We can jump wherever, really. This is, I guess, just like a chatty podcast for people that have watched the show already. What do you think of the Jace and Michaela storyline where they're struggling with intimacy in their marriage? He's saying that it's emotional and sexual, to his, credit. Not that it's not fine to care about sexual.
Right. I do think that it's an
compatibility.
important part of any relationship.
It just felt like at no point was anyone acknowledging that she is 6 months pregnant or
Right.
however pregnant she was.
Like, buddy, your wife is pregnant, and maybe there's a better time to deal with this.
Yeah.
As someone who's been pregnant and knows the hormones of that,
Yeah.
and also thinking about trying to deal with healing through that sort of a thing, unless it's something that she feels like it's her time to work on that, trying to work on that when you're pregnant and then postpartum would be really, really, really difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no good time to work through trauma.
Yeah.
And so, is now better than later, potentially. But also it feels, I don't know, I have a lot of mixed feelings about Michaela and Jace.
Yeah, me too. I've never really liked Michaela as a character on the show. I feel like she's always mean. But now seeing this season, like having more backstory to her life, I'm like, God, no wonder you're pissed off all the time. Like, I would be too. Also, did you know that they met when she was 16 and he was 21? That was also not on my mind. Like, I was like feeling for Jace while watching the storyline. Also, for those of you who don't know, another part of the storyline is that, kind of the reason the show is presenting, or they're presenting as to why Michaela isn't sexually into Jace, is because of childhood sexual assault trauma. Which I don't necessarily know. Like, can you know that that's true? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, what if you just aren't attracted to this man anymore for valid reasons?
Well, also, I think that it would be pretty normal for that dynamic to lead them to where they are now.
Yeah.
Because they were so
the
young.
16, 21
the
thing.
16, 21
Yeah, and
thing.
getting pregnant at 16.
I think getting pregnant so young and getting committed to somebody so young, period, would lead you to a place where even if you still love each other, even if you still want to be together in a part, I don't know, I can just see that being really natural for that to become like a separation, or to be like a natural drift for them. And also just, I don't know, my feelings about Jace are really mixed this season, because I did like the way that he was being, like, there were some moments in the season where I felt like he was doing his best to be supportive, and I could see that he was trying really hard.
Yeah.
But also, I don't buy that he didn't know that she was 16. Like, she apparently lied about her age, and I don't buy that he didn't know.
I think that might...
and that just gives me the ick.
Yeah, I think it probably was... Like, it probably was a 16-year-old and a 21-year-old, and he probably did know. And it's tough because, obviously, they have stayed together. She's pregnant with their 5th child by 25. That's also... I just feel like if your girlhood was stolen from you at 16 like that, no wonder you're not in touch with your own eroticism. No wonder you don't want to have sex with anyone, it sounds like.
I mean, you've been pregnant for basically 9 years.
Yeah. Whoa.
Pregnant or breastfeeding.
Yeah. Also, the thing that kind of stresses me out is kind of this assumption that And I get it because they're married and they have kids together, but this assumption that like she should end up being sexually into him again. And I'm like, does she know herself enough to like, it just seems unlikely to me that someone you met at 16, like, and then had such an extreme journey with, I don't know. I just don't know if there's like, if it's very guaranteed. Sorry, my brain is kind of bad.
I see what you're saying. And I feel like they're going into, first of all, I think that it's very problematic that her therapy is being televised, and I think the girl deserves
interesting. I hope
therapy.
she's getting off.
I hope she's getting therapy that's off air.
Yeah, I assume, but
I would hope so, because otherwise, like, I cannot imagine doing an EMDR therapy session in front of a camera.
Yeah,
like, there's no way I am actually doing the work that I need to do there. But also, even if I'm doing my best, that would just be so uncomfortable.
Yeah. Like if you can't even say certain stuff to your partner, you're not going to want to say it to the whole world.
Right. And so I hope for her sake that she is able to get, or that she's getting outside therapy. But I just don't like that I just don't like that the attitude going into all of the different types of therapy are to fix her so that she will have sex with her husband. Not, it's more about fixing the symptom rather than the cause, like fixing the cause or like getting to the root of it is in a way, but it just doesn't feel like they're approaching it for the right reasons. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like I didn't even really like it when the therapist said, oh, a good motivation for doing the work can be for your kids. And I'm like, I just don't know if it's good for a woman to be trying to heal her relationship to her own sexuality for her husband and kids. Like, I feel like that's like that's like the reason we all got here in this situation on the show. Like all of the problems on the show are like caused by this purity culture and this like notion that if you marry someone at 16 that you'll just have sex with him forever.
Right,
and,
that's it.
Before ever really getting
to know
yourself.
knocked up at 16, you're getting pregnant, you're getting married.
Yeah.
And then that's it, because there's also, it's so interesting because I have multiple family members who have gotten married that young to men who are over the age of 20. And it's so interesting to see the cultural like attitude around that it is completely fine as long as they are married, and that like so many, like my brother-in-law signed off for his 15-year-old daughter to get married because she was in a relationship with some 20-year-old.
So it's just like, to me, what are the chances that you're going to stay compatible?
And also, aside from the statutory rape of it all.
Yeah. No, it's, I really feel for Michaela because I'm like, I don't know if the solutions you're hoping to, like, the solutions might not be what you want to hear, if that makes sense. That's
right. I don't feel like
that.
If you actually are doing the work, I don't think it's going to lead where your husband and the show want it to go.
Yeah. And I don't think you can't really do such massive healing work with this goal in mind to be sexually into your husband. Like, I just don't think that's a good way to heal sexual trauma under this pressure to to be into Jace again. I do want to, I'll defend Jace a little bit because while I was watching, I did feel for Jace because, well, first of all, he was talking about how their emotional and sexual connection was lacking. And you could see between them that she's not able to like really meet him in the present moment ever. And you can kind of see that with the way she is generally, but I feel like it's especially pronounced in them. Like there's clearly this wall up with her. And that would be really hard. And I also don't think, like the circumstances are really tough between them. So that makes it like tough for viewers. But like, I don't think that lacking like if someone was unhappy in a marriage because the sexual connection wasn't there, I'm like, that is valid. Like, I don't want to be like puritanical about the fact that it's sex, if that makes sense. Cause that is an important part of a relationship. And
totally agree.
He is so valid in wanting, a sexual and emotional. There. Yeah.
Wanting that connection isn't bad.
Yeah.
Like, I think that it's really, especially with the culture in Utah, anything about or wanting sex is bad. And so I think that it's normal for that to feel so almost vilified here in Utah. But I do think that it's important to acknowledge that it's not a bad thing for him to be seeking sexual compatibility in his relationship. Like, I think that that's what everybody wants.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is like a relatable struggle for like, even non-Mormon couples, like long-term relationship, sexual compatibility is like a whole thing. But yeah, the fact that the emotional connection is also not there makes it.
Right.
It's like if she just wasn't pregnant, I would just be like right there with you, Jace, you know, like you're so valid for that. But it just felt really weird, like him, well, not weird, because I really like can empathize with the emotions we saw from him. Like I think he was being very genuine. But when he was talking about how, yeah, just basically I don't know if this marriage is going to work anymore. I'm like, it just feels like you should wait till she's had the baby. I don't know.
Right. Like I don't think this is a fair thing to put on your partner when they're pregnant.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't think that it's...
But it almost shows how normal, like how lightly Utah culture will treat having kids. That the pregnancy is just like barely, it's not even really referenced as it pertains to the situation. And presumably she's been pregnant for a lot of their relationships. Right. So, yeah, I guess like pregnancy doesn't, like you can't really choose when you have a breakdown kind of thing. But yeah, just unfortunate timing.
Well, I want to talk about Jordan and Jesse because I don't think any of us, well, I didn't have any idea like what their relationship looked like prior to this season.
Me and Jared would always call him the little Chippendale because I think like him and Brett were like Chippendales together.
Yeah, they were.
And didn't he get like really angry as well? And he had just like...
Yeah. He got real angry, and he was just like angry without a shirt on.
Yeah.
His little collar.
I was always just like, why is Jesse with this man? I didn't really understand like what their vibe was from previous seasons.
I saw someone refer to him as like a really angry toddler.
Yeah, that's a really valid metaphor.
I feel like, I don't know, I didn't really have a very strong opinion on Jordan before this season because we weren't really given a lot on him.
Yeah.
And when we found out at the end of last season about the whole affair or like the possibility of the affair, I was feeling really bad for Jordan, you know, like potentially. You know, I was like, if Jesse cheated on him, that obviously sucks. But then watching this season, and I'm not at all trying to say that the emotional affair, whatever, was like good or that I am supportive of that. But after seeing a little tiny glimpse into their home life.
Oh, yeah.
My jaw was on the floor. That was literally, I paused the episode and that was when I texted you and I was like, I'm in the middle of episode 4 and I am so mad right now.
Yeah.
Because I was just so shocked.
I don't remember if it was that episode, but when he said, this is why I treat you this way, basically saying like, I treat you bad because you just, I was like, oh this. God, I was we're like, this in is territory that.
It was so bad.
Yeah, that was
watching him yell at her on the couch.
Yeah.
Was so rough.
When she seems so, like she was so, you couldn't have expected her to have been any different really about it all. I mean, I think kind of valid that like he didn't want Marciano at the dinner, but to his credit, they were separated.
I agree. And
I don't really know what separation means to any of these people though. Because
I think that they aren't really setting clear boundaries on what that means beforehand. And so if they did have clear boundaries and those boundaries included not seeing Marciano Cherry, then that would have been fine for him to be upset about that. But for them to not have any boundaries, and then it seems like just a lot of assumptions are being made on like, well, he won't care because we're separated, and him assuming that she won't talk to him because they're separated or whatever. They're just not communicating about it, it feels like enough.
Yeah. Also, I'm so like fascinated by just like people's idea of what an emotional affair is, because I feel like people have different ideas about stuff like that, and I'm always like, what is an emotional affair? Like, is it that you're like flirting with someone in a way that is basically like you're not physically doing things with them, but like, because I feel like to some people an emotional affair is just like getting too close with a person of the opposite sex.
Right. I mean, I feel like it is really ambiguous, and I feel like it probably would vary person to person on what their definition of that
Let us know what your definition of an emotional affair is.
Because I feel like for some people that probably they would consider something to be an emotional affair that like I wouldn't or you wouldn't or you know what I mean? That I think it really...
Like, was she sexting Marciano?
Was she sexting? Was it... Because I guess for me, I feel like an emotional affair is when they are forming an emotional connection that's inappropriate. You know what I mean? Like, that it's no longer friendly. You know what I mean? Or like, I guess, just appropriate in the boundaries that are set in your relationship.
Yeah.
And that's so ambiguous.
Yeah.
And so, like, if they both feel like it was an emotional affair, I feel like that's valid, but he also uses it he just uses it so harshly, if that makes sense, that he's using it as if she was having like a full-blown like torrid sexual affair with him for months and it was hidden, but they were separated.
It seems
when
like
the emotional affair happened.
Oh, really?
I thought
Either
that they were separated when they kissed, but maybe I am misremembering that. Don't quote me on that.
If you're emotionally abusive, then an emotional affair is kind of an inevitable outcome.
Right. I mean, you've already broken the rules of the marriage by being emotionally abusive.
And emotional affairs, again, are an interesting idea to me just because, like, I don't know, if someone's seeking like a inappropriate emotional closeness with someone else, then I'm like, realistically, it's because like their emotional needs are not being met. And I'm not saying that's like the partner's fault or anything, but it's like you can't like shut down the human need for like true connection. Right.
If someone's having an emotional affair, it's because their emotional needs aren't being met. Exactly. And
I mean, you could so see Jace having an affair. He's got high affair potential in a way that I'm like, I feel bad for him. I'm like, I understand.
Well, because again, those needs are really important. Whether they feel not embarrassing, but they feel it feels shameful to admit that having emotional connections and sexual connections are important for a relationship, but they are. And so not that it's good or we're condoning, but that it makes sense when that is an instinct.
Yeah.
Because it's a normal human need.
When he was sad boy playing the piano, I was like,
it's so funny.
This man is so unwell.
He's like, my wife wouldn't put out in the hot tub.
I love how your nails sound when you do that. Need a video of that. I could so see, sorry to circle back to Jace,
that's okay, do it.
When like Miranda's obviously been doing this TV show that it seems like all of the husbands were not like super thrilled about for various reasons, but they've all kind of come around over the years because like they're rich now.
Right.
But I could so see how it's like their wives have all like given their life to this show for years now. And for Jace, I imagine like watching your wife blow up, become a star, blah, blah, blah. And then you're in this villa that's like the nicest place you've ever stayed, like this crazy rich person house. And then it's like you and your wife can't even have like a cute moment of intimacy in the hot tub. Like you could tell she's so avoidant of being close to him. I'm like, that would suck to be like, then what's all this been for?
Right. Like
if we can't even like love each other.
Right. We can't even enjoy the fruits of our labor. Right. Yeah. Because not to be like, what a good dad for staying home with the kids. Because like, he's not babysitting, he's raising his kids. But also, I do think that just as if any parent was being a stay-at-home parent, it is a hard job.
Yeah.
And so even though he has not been the reason for her success, he has been a support during that.
Yeah.
And it is hard work to, I'm assuming he's at home while they're filming constantly.
Yeah.
And obviously that's only for short seasons of life, but the stay-at-home dads are still doing a lot of work in these situations. And so yeah, like both of them have worked really hard to get here and then they can't.
Yeah.
And then you're still sad.
Yeah. And then you could also, I imagine if you're him, you could imagine that the problem's going to keep getting worse because she's just busier and busier. She's got more excuses all the time to be away from him.
Right. And more babies.
Yeah. I like want them to divorce, honestly. Like I know people, it's like a not PC to wish divorce upon people, but they just seem like they would be healthier without each other.
I agree. I think it's difficult when there's so many little babies. I know. I feel like that's the trickiest part for me, but I'm never like a supporter of staying for the kids.
Yeah.
Like I think that's so much more harmful to the kids, but it definitely makes it so much more of a difficult decision and
it's tough. But I've been seeing some killer co-parenting lately.
Really?
Like I feel like it's just becoming, as we're sort of becoming more emotionally intelligent in some ways, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of people are co-parenting really well these days.
That's good.
Like for me growing up with like divorced parents, it was like, if you had divorced parents, like they hated each other. Right. That was just like how it was.
All of my friends.
Yeah. But I'm like, it's like society has realized it doesn't have to be like that anymore. And that's nice.
Oh, nature is healing.
So we're talking about Jesse and Jordan.
Yes.
Yes.
And I just think he's way out of line. But I do think that I thought the way that the barbecue backfired on him was so funny, and it's what he deserved.
Some of those girls are so catty. Like when Michaela was like, it's not like we were sitting there feeding him tacos. Like she just was not taking the bait, and they would just like jump down your throat.
Right. And I loved when Layla walked in and she was like, are you renting this by the hour from Jesse? And I was like, that's really funny because this is Jesse's house.
Mm-hmm. And she has like that whole business on top of
on top of it.
Mom Talk stuff.
And crazy. No, I think something that's actually really interesting about that is I saw on TikTok a really interesting like opinion about how what's so interesting about The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives specifically is that this is a reality show where kind of everyone already did have their fame and like before the show started. And so the show is more about the business of it than specifically their individual lives, if that makes sense, which I think is really interesting. As someone who hasn't consumed a lot of reality TV, like I only recently got into Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And so I'm not in it, if that makes sense. So I don't necessarily know like what's the norm, I guess what I'm saying is, but I just think that's so interesting. And I just think it's a really interesting perspective for the show to have.
Like, what are they even going to do next season with like just the way this has all gone?
I thought that the way that they ended that last episode was so like they were trying to bait us so bad with the whole date with Taylor and Chase.
Yeah, when it's like we know
end.
she's the Bachelorette. So.
Right. And it's like...
So presumably he's going on the Bachelorette?
Like,
or?
I sure hope not.
He might.
That would be crazy.
I don't... Why
do you watch The Bachelorette?
Not normally, but I
mean, I will this time.
I think I will, yeah.
Yeah.
I started to find it so contrived.
Yes.
Compared to like Love Island and other reality shows that are a bit more genuine.
No, I stopped watching a long time ago, but I will watch this season. But it would be crazy if he did like a Nick Viall and appeared in the middle of the season and was like, I'm crashing now, I'm joining in.
As a Whitney apologist, when Nick Viall at the reunion was like, Whitney, I haven't heard a lot of accountability from you. I was like, you are a little snake, Nick Viall. Like, you have no backbone. Like, I feel like he just like adopted what people were saying on the internet.
Yes.
But I'm like, she's no less, like, I thought it was kind of good when she said, I don't regret not coming to Macy's event, because she had texted Macy before and she was just not in a good place to go.
Right.
I feel like we're both people where we would be very understanding if you were like, hey, I'm just not in a place to follow through with our plans, I'd be like, that's so fine.
Right. I feel like it's a very Mormon thing, though, to put everyone else's needs above yours in that way. And so it probably does feel a lot more personal for someone to cancel for their own personal reasons when it's like, but I would go anyway, you know? And I think that there is something to be said about like, community isn't always comfortable and like going, even if it's a big deal, you know, things like that. But I think that especially in Mormon culture, that can be really like a toxic, like almost a toxic positivity kind of vibe around showing up for people, even if you don't have anything to give. And so I can see why that would be hurtful if your standard that you feel like you're giving out to people is that you would show up anyway. But I would also, like, if I were Macy, I would have felt like I would have been disappointed for sure, but also been like, yeah, I totally get it. You need to do what you need to do for yourself.
The way that there's like was 3 pregnant women this season, and like I've never been pregnant, but wouldn't you say it's like insane to get like 4 glam while pregnant in terms of the effort of it all, and they're having to do that every time they film?
Yes.
I don't know, it just seemed like really hard. I don't know how I guess they're all kind of young, but they have so much energy.
I don't know how, well, especially because they all have multiple kids, like already. Yeah. I don't know how they have that much energy.
Yeah, it isn't. It's kind of, it's become a Kardashian situation now where it's like they're so famous and rich and they have all these kids.
I know. And no one could have predicted it would blow up the way that it did with the first season.
Yeah. Honestly, though. Yeah. Do we have more to say about Jesse and Jordan? Did they get together when they were Mormon? I'm like, I don't understand them as a pairing. She seems like someone that could have like such a don't want to say alpha, but like just like a really masculine, secure man who's really like hot and not like Jordan vibes energetically.
Right. Well, I thought it was so funny in a not quite so funny way how off, like the thing that made Jordan the most mad about the emotional affair was how emasculated he felt.
I know. That was my first red flag.
Could we?
Like, shut up.
Okay. He's like,
so
sorry.
This is what's making you look like a baby.
I was like, I actually don't feel bad for you anymore. Like, I was really empathizing and feeling really bad for him. And then he was like, I feel so emasculated. And I was like, I feel emasculated.
And I just feel like, I know that your partner having any kind of affair, like, is
not good,
a tough thing.
Right.
But I just feel like the lack of curiosity, like if Jared had an emotional affair, whatever that would look like for us, I guess for me, that would be like if he was like talking shit about me to them, or I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, I guess like secrecy generally.
Right.
Like I would be like wanting to understand completely like what happened, like what were you feeling,
this come
how
from?
did it, and it just felt like he had no real curiosity.
Right, he didn't care why his wife did it. He didn't care what led her there. He didn't care. Right, and I think that is kind of shows that he doesn't care about her in that way.
I don't feel like he really cares about her a ton.
Like it feels like he cares more about the status of the relationship / just what being in Utah, being married means, right? Like you have a higher status, just like if you're divorced, people look down on you, especially here, I feel like. And so I feel like even though they're no longer in the church, I feel like that desire to stay together and not get divorced is just a really strong one. It's like hard to shake.
Yeah. I feel like something that is interesting to me about Mormon culture is like, because it's so homogenous and like so many women are kind of primed to have the similar personalities. It's almost like, I don't know, it's like even if you get divorced, you'll just like swap in for someone else who's kind of similar and then you'll just have the exact same problems.
Exactly.
Rather than, I feel like in sort of like the wider dating world, there's a lot more variety and personality. And so you're really trying to hone in on like, you know, those like little things about each other's personality that really click. Whereas I feel like for a lot of these men, it's just like, okay, hot, similar kind of vibe about the church as me, whatever. Like, right, it's like pretty like shallow.
Replacement.
Yeah, we've talked about this on Zelf a lot, but like just when you're Mormon, like how kind of like shallow your reasons for, sorry, I'm speaking bad, how shallow the ways that you gauge compatibility are.
Yes.
Like you're just like, they look like this, they got the same views about the church.
Right, they're a temple recommend holder.
We both love Taco Bell.
Right, exactly. I mean, because you converted later, right?
So I was 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you never did, I don't know if they still did this after 16, but when I was in Young Women's, they would have us do like those partner like wish lists, right? Where you'd like write down all the things that you wanted your future husband to be or whatever. And so I think but all of those things that they had you focus on were so surface level. Yeah. And so we just were never, like, I think that girls in the church are just never taught, or boys, like you're taught that the only thing that's important is that they will go to church with you. Like that's really it. Like the rest of the compatibility isn't really important. You can make it work as long as both of you are committed to going to the celestial kingdom together.
Yeah. Remember when Jace was ripping shots because he was so depressed?
Yeah.
Poor boy.
I will say about Jessie that I was really impressed with the way that she handled the whole hair situation with Layla. Yeah. Because I'm also really proud of Layla for like going and getting her hair done by someone that knows how to handle her hair. But I was like, and I understand why she was nervous about talking to Jessie about it, but I was just really impressed with how that whole situation went. And it made me really happy that she, like in everything that I've seen from her since the show has come out, she just looks so much more confident and her hair just looks so much better. And I feel like she feels better because of it. And I'm just really glad that Jessie, I don't know, I feel like that also is an indicator of her character. You know what I mean?
But also, I'm like, if anyone is anything but that would be wild.
That's true.
I know
that's true.
Like, I was almost just like, why is she so worried about it? I get that because the vibe of the way these things seem to be with these girls, I'm like, yeah, it seems like things can really easily be a big deal.
Right.
But it would have been crazy if she wasn't.
It would have been crazy, but also crazy.
But it's
things
not guaranteed with those girls. Yeah.
So I'm glad that it went the way it went. I'm glad the way that it went the way it should have gone.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
But also, I know this is like I don't, this is one of those things where some people on the internet maybe feel like you shouldn't bring this up, but it kind of stressed me out how there was no acknowledgement that maybe, Layla, your hair is falling out because of malnutrition. Like, it's pretty wild to expect to have like a lot of hair or hair that can withstand like the weight of extensions or whatever, when like, I mean, I think she's talked about having an eating disorder, right? That's not like secret.
No, she has. I think on the last season she did. I did see something a few days ago about how Jessie probably never mentioned or like talked to Layla about the hair loss because of the extensions, because she assumed it was like malnutrition.
That's what
or
I
like
would
it was
assume.
something else. Right. And so like because I don't know, I've seen a lot of people be like, Jessie is so horrible for like not telling Layla or like helping her get her hair done by someone better or like whatever earlier. But I think that it is valid that like that is what I would have assumed as well too. Like that was where, like when she showed her balding on this last season, that's where my mind went before they were like, oh, it's the weight of the extensions. My brain was like
if you're malnourished, you can't expect to have hair. Like,
right, your hair is one of the first things to go.
Yeah. Also, though, when all that was happening, I was like, girl, you could have so much less extensions. Like, they do not have to be that long. And I'm like, you are so beautiful. You'd be beautiful with way less hair. Just the amount of hair they have is truly insane. I don't know how it doesn't drive them nuts.
I would be so overstimulated with that much hair.
It's an obscene amount of hair. I'm like,
and it would be so heavy.
And I feel like hair looks so good when it's just like long, but not. Like, it doesn't have to be. I don't get the reasoning.
Well, and when it's that long, it's either up or it's in your back. Like,
yeah,
on your
like,
back.
you guys sitting on it all the time?
Right, like, it's not like it's... I mean, I don't know. As I used to have long hair, and I mean, never that long. But I think that it's so interesting the way that it is a Utah standard to have this long...
obscenely long.
Long hair.
Yeah. I've heard that having extensions is infuriating as well because you can't, like... wash your scalp the way that you can't like give it a good scrub.
Can't like really get in there. That would drive me crazy. I feel like it would get so itchy.
Okay, I feel like we have to talk about the most controversial thing of the season, which is the Demi Marciano.
Yes.
Rest of the girls situation.
Yes.
What are your thoughts? And this is going to be a really fun thing to talk about on the internet.
Yeah.
Just like a banger of a discussion topic. Someone making a sexual assault allegation who seems unreliable outside of that.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing that's the trickiest about this for me is that Demi has seemed like an incredibly unreliable narrator all 3 seasons. And the things that she says online don't line up with the way that she says she feels. But then she continues to act that way online or act that way behind people's backs. And so it feels like often the things that she's saying, like the apologies that she's making or like the excuses that she's making, often feel like they're because public opinion didn't go the way she thought it would. And so it seems like she's, what's the word that I'm looking for? Like she's covering it up. You know, she's trying to pivot the situation because it didn't go the way that she planned.
Yeah.
So I feel very conflicted about it all.
Yeah, I think where I've landed, I mean, I think what Miranda said was, I have a few things to say actually. It was true what Miranda said, which was like, regardless of if she's lying about that, she is lying about some stuff. She's lying about stuff around the butt grab.
Right.
Also, I mean, she's right. Unwanted touch is unwanted touch. And it's, you don't deserve to have your butt touched by someone you don't want to touch it. But if you're aggressively flirting with someone, a butt grab is not totally outside the realm of people don't genuinely usually ask for consent to touch your butt. Like, I'm assuming it was like clothed and...
Right.
I feel like touching a butt is kind of like a flirty thing to do. And if they were flirting to the level that it sounds like they were flirting, like mutually, I'm like, is that so crazy? Like, it sounds like he made a miscalculation.
Right. It doesn't seem like it was aggressive. And that doesn't make it not unwanted, but it doesn't seem like it was intentionally aggressive.
Yeah. I kind of struggle with like the label sexual assault in that situation because I'm like, it on some levels, sure, yeah, unwanted touch is unwanted touch. And then at the same time, it's like, it does sound like it was a miscalculation between two people that were flirting and touching.
Right.
And I don't know, it's like we kind of have to have some space for like miscalculations sometimes. Right. And like we need to kind of be able to talk about it with a bit more nuance.
Right. Well, especially when we see the way that Demi reacted to Chase touching her.
Yeah. That wasn't a good...
Like, I feel like she is quick to throw out of proportion what a touch is, right? And so if, like, I remember watching that scene last season where Chase literally, it looks like barely touches it. And it's, you can tell that the producers also feel that way with how they zoom in and slow down, like highlight how small that touch is, that like, it wasn't a shove. It was barely like, there was barely any contact at all. And I feel like that's the kind of touch that I would make when I was trying to get someone's attention, be like, hey, someone was looking for you, or whatever it was that he said. Yeah. It seemed so much just like there's a lot of people around. I'm trying to make sure that you know I'm talking to you kind of a touch. And so she freaked out so much over that.
And I think it's valid that you would feel like not good in the presence of like a man with an aggressive energy. Like I think she was picking up on something that was messed up for her to have to sort of receive. But it just becomes so challenging when like feels like she's not able to like fully process the feelings in her own mind, so she has to almost like exaggerate the story to feel like her feelings are valid. Yeah. That's the way I see it.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
Because she did talk about how she's kind of people pleased for a lot of shitty men, and I'm like, I bet she has in her life. Like that is the Mormon woman experience. And so I could see there being a bit of misdirection of some of that like fury that has like understandably built up over decades. But I also just want to say, I can't believe no one is talking about this. Demi's whole thing throughout the season was unwanted touch is unwanted touch, which totally fair.
Right.
But then when she's talking to Miranda in the hotel room about like the mischaracterization of the Chase touch, she shoves Miranda on the shoulders.
She keeps touching her.
You can't say that what Chase did was like so terrible when you're doing the way worse. Like you're shoving Miranda for real.
Right. And Miranda is not loving it.
And Miranda is the coolest person in the world, so she handles it like
hot.
A champ.
So cool. Miranda, Stupid. If you somehow see this,
get in touch for any reason. That we'll do anything you want.
No, genuinely though, Miranda is... I was really hesitant when she came on to the second season because I was like, I don't know, like before the first season came out, there were a lot of like, she had made some TikTok videos about how she had been like, they reached out to her for the first season and she was like, no way in hell, I don't want to be on that show. I don't want to be associated with it or whatever. And then when she came around for the second season, I was really skeptical because I was like, you said you didn't want anything to do with it, but I don't blame her. I don't blame her for wanting to join. And she was part of the original Mom Talk.
Yeah.
And
I also want money.
And I also want money.
So I totally get it.
And I think, I mean, I love her. I think she's so great. But
me too.
I'm glad that her arc on the show has been positive because I was unsure when she joined the show.
I'm just utterly astounded that Demi, when her whole thing was unwanted touch is unwanted touch, shoved around. I can't get over it.
Over and over again.
And no one's talking about it. I'm like, so you're saying that you're an assaulter by your own definition. Do you know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the way that she was really dismissive, and I don't know, I just think that she also has still just been really, like, I don't blame Jen at the end of the season for being like, I still feel really unresolved about Demi. I feel really uncomfortable around her. I don't feel like you know, gave us I don't feel like she was very accountable because
her apology,
her apology was so
psychopath.
Was so not an apology. It had
no heart, you know.
It was literally
like sorry for my bit, whatever that may or may not have been. I'm sorry that you
guys got offended by the things that I did that were totally valid because I felt valid in them, and it would be rude of you guys to think otherwise. Basically,
I found the apology scene tough, just like given the seriousness of Demi's like allegations, not just towards Marciano, but like towards the women. Like she was accusing them of victim blaming her, and you know.
Right, all of these things.
I didn't think that was cool. Also, it really was completely insane the way she kept bringing up like Michaela's child sexual abuse trauma, Macy being like really sexually abused. I don't know what I can say on YouTube. Like those two have such like serious like trauma.
Actual, and comparing the two.
And I'm like, as much as I totally get that trauma is not a hierarchy.
Those are not comparable.
An unwanted butt grab from a guy you were really flirting with, I'm like, I get that it can suck and like could be traumatic, but I'm just like,
but that's not the same
so
as being
insensitive.
sexually abused as a 6-year-old.
So
like
insensitive.
That's so different. And to compare them,
and it's stuff like that just makes it seem like she's weaponizing this allegation for her own gain. Like, it's
it feels like she's doing it to move the public opinion back towards her.
Yeah.
That it's my actions are all justified because I was sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't choose how you'll act during trauma, and so everything that I did was justified because of trauma.
Her logic in like those conversations with like Whitney and Jesse, all of her logic was just so all over the place. I'm like, that is a person who is thinking on their feet.
Yeah, that is someone who is just throwing
it
shit
wasn't
at the
congruent.
wall to see what sticks.
Yeah.
You know, like I can't believe that people don't see that. Like, I can't believe that people are not.
They do.
I mean, a lot of people do, but I've been shocked to see the people that are still like demi apologists.
Oh God.
Like after this.
No.
Like, I can't believe anyone's.
Yeah.
I can't believe anyone is on her side and feels like she's valid for that.
I mean, I'll be a demi apologist in saying I do believe that she's probably dealt with a lot of shitty men. That's probably been part of why she's become the way that she's become. Like, that's informed the ways she feels like she has to be cutthroat and ruthless and like potentially dishonest. So like, you know, the culture made her, I guess.
Right.
None of it's her fault, but yeah, it was a tough watch.
It was a tough watch for sure. Can't wait for the next one.
I just want to say Whitney's fashion, I've just been loving. I just love Whitney.
I love Whitney, and I love how unapologetically her she is. Mm-hmm. Like, I love when she shows up wearing a makeup headband all day. And I'm like, you
get it.
You get it. You're doing it in a way that I wouldn't, and I really applaud that. You know, like, I wish that I was that, I don't want to say, like, I'm not trying to say, I wish I was that brave because that sounds rude. But I'm saying, like, I just really appreciate how much she just wears what she wants to wear. Yeah. And I don't mean that in a rude way.
Yeah, she's the only one that kind of dresses like that.
Right, that dresses herself, not just like the Utah style.
I guess Miranda has kind of got her own style, but it is pretty,
I feel like she dresses like there's like a very Utah lesbian style, and she wears that. I feel like, you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
It'd be so cool if she was a lesbian.
It would be.
Oh, I did think it was interesting how, you know, Taylor slept with Dakota at the music festival.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, they clearly have a sexual connection. Like, you can tell that they really are compatible sexually. And I thought, like, well, I appreciated the honesty of Jace saying that he felt jealous of that. But also isn't it interesting because it's, like, the whole thing with purity culture and Mormonism is supposed to be that, like, if you're married, that's how you have the best sex. And, you know, Taylor and Dakota are, like, such a toxic couple. But it really highlights how, like, eroticism, it can't just be like contained to these like neat little Mormon marriages.
Right.
Like, it's bigger than that. It goes to show that like the being in like a loving, great marriage does not always like correlate with like a sexual connection. Like, sometimes being toxic, you know,
equals great sex.
Yeah. So I guess the message is like, be toxic.
Be toxic, have good sex.
Yeah. Yeah. What did you guys think of this style of video? I mostly just want to hear like everyone's opinions in the comments and
yeah.
I
want to hear everyone's opinions, and I want to hear all of the ways that you were wrong.
I know. I feel like I always have the wrong opinions on pop culture lately.
I feel like I always do. I'm like, this is how I feel. And everyone's like, you are wrong for 100 reasons.
And I'm like, I don't think it's a white supremacist move to use Dark Night of the Soul metaphors in your pop album, but that's just me. Yes. Okay, well, this was nice. Thanks for pretending you like Whitney a bit more than you do for me.
Anytime.
Such a people pleaser. We'll see what happens with Taylor as the Bachelorette, I guess.
I know. I can't believe that we have to wait till March for that, though.
Yeah, maybe we should make videos about that.
We could.
I honestly just love the nonsense of reality TV, and just like so serious. Like, Mormon Stories is doing a panel on the Mormon Wives next week.
Oh, that's so fun.
That's going to be more serious. I'm going to have to really tone down some of my opinions. Yeah.
I can't wait for that, though.
Where can people find you? That's what people say to their guests.
Well, I'm on all of the social media platforms at Aurora McCausland. My last name is spelled MCCAUSLAND.
Aurora makes the best TikToks. I love your TikTok. I kind of found her through her cleaning TikToks, and I'm hooked. It will make you want to clean your house.
That's my goal, is to get people addicted to energy drinks and cleaning their house.
Manically cleaning.
Yeah, and manically cleaning their house afterwards.
There are way worse things. There's like a healthy outlet.
Right. I mean, like, at least at the end of the day, my house is clean.
Exactly. You can't put a price on that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for being here. Yeah, as we said, let us know your opinions in the comments. This has been great. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. It was so fun.
Yeah. How do you think we did with this discussion?
I mean, I'm going to give us a solid like B+, A-.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, not my best work, but not my worst work.
Yeah.
You know?
How much can you really say about Secret Lives of Mormon Wives? It's like,
I mean, it's the thing I feel like now is we're all just kind of regurgitating the same opinions and and then just kind of like throwing them back and forth at each other.
That's so true.
But I love it. Like I sit and watch every single opinion TikTok that comes up about Secret Lives of Mormon Wives because I want to hear it from every angle. I want to see all of the receipts. I want to see what everyone's thinking and talking about.
But when people don't like and dislike people the way I dislike and dislike,
I'm like, you're actually wrong.
God, don't. Yeah, and here's why you're morally bad for thinking that.
Have the same opinions as me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Bye. That's the end of the video.